Hi, my friends. Today I'm going to talk about something that most creatives experience, but very few talk about honestly: creative burnout. Not the dramatic crash, not the I quit everything moment, which I swear I have done more than once, but the quiet version, the kind where you still love fabric, painting, you fill in the blank. You still love making things. You still believe in creativity. But when you sit down to begin, you feel tired. Boy, do I know this feeling deeply. After I lost my studio on Fabric Row in Philadelphia, there was this strange space. I still had skill, I still had ideas, but something in me felt really deflated. And I'm going to try not to get emotional here. Um, but I kept asking myself, why can't I just get my momentum back? It wasn't lack of discipline, it was exhaustion. So if you've been feeling like something's off, let's talk about what that actually looks like. Sign number one. This is the first sign. You start projects, but you don't want to finish them. I went through a season where I had multiple pieces laid out, beautiful fabrics, thoughtful color combinations, and I would begin with excitement. Then halfway through, I would feel resistance. And instead of recognizing burnout, I labeled myself inconsistent. But here's what I realized: when your nervous system is overloaded, finishing feels like pressure, completion feels like exposure. So you unconsciously abandon things you protect to protect your energy. What helped me wasn't pushing harder, it was shrinking everything. Instead of saying finish the bag, it became stitch for 10 minutes and then stop. Completion in tiny doses rebuilt trust with myself. If you're not finishing, you're not lazy. You're protecting your capacity. Here comes the second sign. You scroll instead of create. I remember sitting at my table, fabric in front of me, and instead of picking up the needle, I would pick up my phone. And then I would watch other creatives, and that just made me feel worse. Scrolling might feel like rest, but it's stimulation. Your brain gets dopamine. Your body stays tense. What changed this for me was creating a ritual. Before I touched my phone, I would light a candle, make some tea, and sit still for 1 minute. No stitching yet, just regulating. Creativity returned when my body felt safe. If you're scrolling instead of creating, you might not need more inspiration. You might just need regulation. So just put the phone down. Try what I did. See if it works for you. The third sign is comparison and feeling behind. This one is subtle and heavy. This one was and still is a tough one for me. I get into that FOMO mode, or I feel like everyone was doing it while I was sitting in the corner crying. Then, when I transformed from slow fashion into slow stitching as healing, I felt behind in business, behind in growth, behind in visibility. And that really drains creative energy, believe me. Because when you feel behind, everything you make feels like it's a catch up. The pressure just kills your curiosity. So, what helped me? Okay, so what helped me was muting accounts, stepping away from the metrics. That's a biggie. Return to why I create in the first place, which is joy. Your rhythm might be slower, But slower isn't wrong. Burnout often comes from trying to run at someone else's pace. The fourth sign is actually the one that hurts the most. Thinking that you're not creative. You look at your supplies and feel nothing. I had a period where I sat at my table and thought, maybe that part of me is over. I'm going to get emotional again. Sorry. After 40 years of working with textiles, that thought scared the shit out of me. Excuse my language. but creativity doesn't disappear. It goes dormant, like winter, which is what I'm in right now. We don't accuse a tree of falling in January. We understand it's resting. So that was a key for me. I began allowing myself to rest without labeling it failure. And slowly, gently, interest came back. If you feel flat, you're not broken. You're in a season. The fifth sign is overwhelm. You love the idea of creating, but feel overwhelmed when you begin. This is where I see so many women get stuck. They think they need a big project, a finished outcome, a purpose. But overwhelm often comes from too many decisions. So when I simplified to basic stitches, limited colors, and clear containers, my nervous system relaxed. Structure creates safety. You don't need freedom right now. You need simplicity. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, I want you to gently say this. Burnout doesn't mean you've lost your creativity. It means you've been carrying too much. Creativity is not a productivity system. It's a regulation practice. For me, slow stitching became the way back. Not to build something impressive, but to feel calm. If you want a simple way to begin again, I have a free 10-minute stitching guide linked below. And I would love to know in the comments, which sign felt like the most true for you? Just remember, you are not behind. You are rebuilding, and rebuilding is sacred work. So give yourself a break and stay tuned for my next video. See you next week.